up, guys? Welcome back. So today we're out here with the D21. If you're not familiar with the channel or my truck, I have a 95 turbo D21. It makes like 250 horsepower, and I essentially have made it into a drift truck, or that's all I really use it for. I got some new parts, man, and I'm stoked to share them with you and put them on and see how they do. These are Belltech front and rear sway bars for, it says 83 to 97, but as far as I know, 86 and a half to 97 D21s. Or Nissan pickups, whatever you want to call them, hard bodies. But basically these things are pretty beefy. I got 1 inch for the front and 3/4 inch for the rear. And if you're not familiar, the one on the truck now, I don't know what size the front is, but it's not large. I think that might be a 3/4, maybe ½ inch. I don't know, 5/8, who knows. The rear has no sway bar whatsoever, so that's going to make a huge difference back here. And people have seen it in my pictures of my videos of me drifting. You see the body roll. You see these wheels tucking when I'm drifting. So that's going to make a huge difference back there. But as far as the front, you know, that's going to make a big difference as well. Just as far as predictability, handling goes, and all that stuff in there combined. So they do come with everything, sway bars themselves, the links, the brackets. This is for the rear. My only concern is that these aren't going to fit over my axle anymore, because I don't have a hard body axle. I have a Zuzu Rodeo Dana 44 rear end, and if you haven't seen the installer and all the info on that, check the video here. Otherwise, we're gonna go ahead and I'm gonna work on installing this. I'm gonna put the truck up on jack stands, and then we'll get with the install, removing the front sway bar and replacing that one, and then installing the rear, which I might have to do a little bit of custom work too. So I'm out here at my little testing grounds, and I got the truck over here. I'm basically gonna set the camera up and drive around a couple times, let you see like how bad the body roll is on the back wheel when I turn. But don't expect any crazy shit, because there's a cop sitting right over there. Yeah, so I'm just gonna do this so y'all can kind of get an idea of the body roll, and plus it's raining. I don't really take my truck out in the rain, so yeah, give you a little idea of it. Jack stands like we talked about. I got this bad boy here ready. So this is the 1 inch sway bar for the front. Went ahead and put the stabilizer bar links together, and then here are your brackets that actually mount it up there. And they do provide the lube in there, so that you can lube the sway bar bushings on there, and you know, make it easy to get on here and then just install in the vehicle. So essentially for the front, like I said, all you're gonna have to do is take these off, the sway bar links themselves, which is, for mine, is 14 on top and on bottom, should be same with yours, but if not, it might just be aftermarket. But you just take those off on both sides and then disconnect this bushing. There's 2 bolts here, and then on the other side as well down there. And it's pretty simple. It should be able to just slide this one out and finagle the other one back in, but we'll get these off and then see how that goes. So now all we have left is the 14s for the brackets, which I'm not going to be able to get with this socket, but the 2 14s here, and then the 2 14s mounted to the frame on the other side, and then we should be able to pull it out. Alright, so I got them both out. The new one is a 1 inch. The old front sway bar is a 3/4 inch sway bar. I had someone that asked me what the different sizes were because I thought they were the same. This new one is a 1/4 inch bigger. It should make a pretty big difference as opposed to this, and they come with new sway bar lengths and stuff like that, so I'm not over stressing the ones like I had on there because I'm so low and stuff. Sorry, I had to cut that music out. But yeah, basically it wasn't as easy as I said it was going to be. It wasn't like a really just a slide out and drop in. What I ended up doing was removing my idler arm, and that allowed me to wiggle it and finagle it out. There wasn't any way I could really get it out without taking something off. It was hitting both the inside of this spindle and the inside of the other spindle on each side when I would move it back and forth, no matter which way I turned it. So that way worked out pretty well for me. I'm not sure how else everybody else does it, but yeah, that worked pretty good. And I don't think it'll mess with my alignment because I'm not actually moving any geometry. I basically just removed a stabilizer and I'm going to put it back in the same exact spot, because all it does is just pick up and turn into place on there. And there's this 3 19mm bolts, so it makes it pretty easy to do. It literally took me like 5 minutes to do it that way. It was 30 seconds in a time lapse, so whatever that equates to. But yeah, let's try and get the new one on, go from there. I don't know what kind of finagling that just was to get that in there, or how it actually just worked, but it worked. So now I'm gonna mount it, and then we gotta go on to the hard part, which is the rear. But I'll show y'all me mounting it real quick. Now I did choose to wait until I had the stabilizer bar actually up in there to put the bushings, the mounting bushings up on there, because if you don't, then you're gonna be sitting there fighting with those in addition to the thicker sway bar trying to get it in there, and it's not fun as it is, as you saw. So yeah, just kind of wanted to mention that, and just kind of wanted to give you all that little note as well. So we're going to time lapse the install back in, and putting the mounting plates on, and then the sway bar links. So here we go. Alright, so as you guys can see, I got everything back up on here loosely. So bolts for the idler arm are back in, sway bar is mounted loosely. You can see there's still space in between these, and then these are not tight at all yet. But I'm not going to put them back on with the impact. These, as per Belltech, you're supposed to tighten up till only this part rotates by hand. And then, but I'm gonna tighten these first, once I get it, like, try and get it perfectly center. And then I'll tighten these, and then the sway bar links. And then we'll be done with the front. And it'll be time to go to the back. So let's get it done. Alright, so there's the front up in there, mounted. Everything's put back together the way it should be. Sway bar links are on there too. And that concludes the front. So now we just gotta kind of clean up what we got going on back here and move on to seeing how we can get this back to work. I'm gonna tell you right now, I'm worried about clearance issues. My exhaust sits on my axle when it's all the way down, so could be a problem, but we're gonna find out real soon. Alright, so we're getting ready to do the back, and I'm reading the instructions here. So these are gonna fit my Dana axle. Luckily, that's one of the things I was pretty concerned about. It shows you how to put everything together as long as you do print the directions. Read the directions, people. It's important. I don't know why people don't read directions. It makes life easy. And so this is very important right here. I don't know if I can get it to focus, but basically it's telling you that if your vehicle's lowered, you need the 7-inch bolts with the 1/2-inch spacers. If your vehicle's stock height, you need the 10-inch bolts with the 2.5-inch spacers. Very important. If you don't do it correctly, it's not going to work right. So you have to make sure you use the smaller ones. And probably just going to install this thing and let it beat everything to hell. My exhaust is getting bent up because my exhaust is in the way. It's sitting on my axle. The exhaust is hitting the weights that are in the back. So I don't really want to chop my exhaust off, so I'm just going to install it, and you know what? Hopefully it doesn't vibrate me to death, but we'll go ahead and get it on and see where it takes us. So I'm here with the back, and I went ahead and I got these put on because I'm not gonna have to worry about you know, as many issues with getting it up in here. My concern is, as you can see, if you look at my exhaust right there, it's smacking my axle pretty good, and frame's giving her a little love. Not really anything to be concerned about, but you know, that's there too. So we're gonna go ahead and get this thing up in here. It mounts to this bolt right here, right behind these two. That's kind of what give me the reference in the picture. So you got these two here, then you got the one in front of it. That's going to be your sway bar link bolt hole. And yeah, so the brackets that hold the stabilizer or the sway bar on there are right there, and basically they have these supports on them. You put them on with one nut. I'm gonna get the axle up in there and kind of get it some kind of where it needs to go. Might hang the end links first and then mount it on here, or vice versa. Whatever's gonna be easier. But honestly, it's gonna probably make a bunch of noise, and I may have to get this exhaust modified, unfortunately, because I really don't want to cut it off. Might just let it beat it up in a little bit. You can see I was hitting it a little bit with the hammer, trying to knock it up in some more, but I might have to actually hit this section some as well. So I'm gonna go ahead and get it up in here, and we'll go from there. I'm gonna time lapse this, so here we go. Alright, so I got her all tightened up, and essentially this is what we're left with. Is I'm gonna have clearance issues. So you can see the exhaust is already slightly bent from the axle before I put this on. So I know this exhaust is gonna sit directly on top of this. So this bolt was sticking like up here. I chopped it off so I don't have to worry about that rattling into the exhaust. However, it's still gonna vibrate, it's still gonna rattle, so I put some sound deadening on top of here. But just a little something to kind of absorb some of the vibration and hopefully not drive me absolutely batshit insane. I'm gonna put it down on the ground. We'll check that out because I'm sure it's just gonna sit, like the exhaust is just gonna sit on the sway bar. So that's really my only like concern with the whole thing. Everything else went in pretty well, pretty smooth. Yeah, I'm gonna put the wheels back on, get her on the ground, and we'll fire her up, see how much it rattles. Hopefully not a lot, and then we'll go test it out. So here we go. We're back out here where I kind of test the truck at again, and I got all the sway bars mounted on. Everything's good, everything's tight, and kind of going to do the same little testing I did where I just drive around slowly, but, well, not really slowly, but you know what I mean. There ain't a cop over there this time though, so I might whip a shitty, see how it feels. I got to go out and do some testing before next week's event anyways, so I don't really think that's going to be now.
You're a liar!
Yeah, we'll do this little testing and see how it feels, and I can tell you it already feels a whole lot stiffer. The truck feels really responsive. Well, I'm gonna do that for a minute, and then I'm gonna take her back home.
Okay, let's see what this baby can do, huh?
Whipped it a little bit, and yeah, that was fun. Feels good. I'm ready for the fucking event. Oh shit, got my adrenaline going. That's what you call a little ripping dip right there. So yeah, I ran back to the hideout, but sway bars overall feel really good. This truck feels really tight, so it's going to be a lot more responsive. It's going to take a little bit of adjusting to get used to at the track, but I think it's going to help a whole lot. Really happy with it. Can't wait to experience it next week at the event. Once again, I'll be in Shenandoah, Virginia, Swing Set LLC. It'll be hot lapping and like a time attack event out there, so that'll be fun. But I hope you guys have enjoyed this video and appreciate what I put together for you guys. So if you haven't already, drop a subscribe, like, comment, you know, all that good stuff, and we'll see you next time. Thanks guys, peace.